Hello and welcome to Factual Insider, the channel that strives to cover as many facts as possible. Today we will be discussing 15 facts about Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2 that you may not know. If you find any of the facts to be interesting, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe and hit the bell icon to receive notifications. Please be aware that this video will contain spoilers, so you have been warned. With that being said, let's get started. Number 1. Hyperdimension Neptunia has been loved by its fans over the years for its references of the real-life video game industry and its franchises. There have been so many references to the time when Vert pre-ordered Hoop Reach in the original Hyperdimension Neptunia as an obvious reference to Halo Reach, to the green hedgehog costume in Hyperdimension Neptunia the animation as another obvious reference that hinted at Sonic the Hedgehog. Of course there are so many other references of video games in the Hyperdimension Neptunia franchise, but one of the lesser recognized references in Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2 has to be the representations of the three characters shown in the game industry graveyard. From left to right are Farupora, also known as Flightplan, Compile, and Deco. Farupora or Flightplan is based off the game company Flightplan that is no longer existent and has worked on game franchises such as Black Matrix and Summon Night. Compile is based off of Compile, which is another game company that is no longer existent and has worked on the Puyo Puyo series until Sega purchased the rights in 1998 and Ma Dao Mo no Gatari. Finally, Deco is themed off of the Deco cassette game console by Data East and has had games on the console such as Treasure Island and Missile Sprinter. Number 2. Currently the only Hyperdimension Neptunia title with an M for mature rating in North America as of this video's upload. Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2 received a mature rating from the ESRB due to Nepgear's Black HDD form for being too revealing for a teen rating and also traumatic events that would be out of reach from a teen rating. Although not confirmed, the traumatic events that did not allow the game to get a teen rating were most likely the events with CFW Trick and the game's infamous Conquest ending. Number 3. Introduced in the original Hyperdimension Neptunia, Nisa and Gust return in Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2 as two protagonists that assist Nepgear in her journey. Unfortunately, the second entry of the Hyperdimension Neptunia series would be the last title to feature Nisa and Gust due to Nippon Ichi Software, which is the game company that Nisa is themed off of, and Gust no longer being involved in the Hyperdimension Neptunia franchise after the third installment of the franchise Hyperdimension Neptunia Victory, despite both characters not appearing in the game. Fans can still find Nisa in the Disgaea series, and you can see in her character description references in which she used to be a part of Hyperdimension Neptunia. Number 4. Of course, Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2 would be the introduction to the goddesses' younger sisters and the CPU candidates. Of course there is Nepgear, who is the sister of Neptune, and she is based off of the Sega Game Gear. Uni is based off of the PlayStation Portable or the PSP and is the sister of Noir. Finally, there are the twins Ram and Ram, who are the sisters of Blonde and themed off the Nintendo DS. Of course the twins represent the two screens for the Nintendo DS. Number 5. Many longtime fans of the Hyperdimension Neptunia franchise may remember getting started with the original entry as the introduction to game industry and its four goddesses. Unfortunately, fans and critics alike did not enjoy the gameplay of the first title due to its mediocre dungeons and its combat system. In Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2, the gameplay was revamped with different dungeon designs and a new combat system. While the new gameplay was not impressive, it was enough to keep fans happy. Number 6. Fans that started with the original Hyperdimension Neptunia may remember that game industry had a different layout with the nations that were on floating islands, while in Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2, all the nations were on land. Fans were wondering why the original Hyperdimension Neptunia and Mk2 did not connect both in story and similarity. NIS Software, who was the North American publisher of the Hyperdimension Neptunia franchise all the way up to Hyperdimension Neptunia Producing Perfection, stated the reasons for the differences was because both games took place in different dimensions. Number 7. For those that have completed the true ending of Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2, players may have noticed that Uni, when doing the peace sign, has 6 fingers instead of 5. This clear mistake was corrected in the art book that came with the special edition of Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2 in the North American release back on February 28, 2012. Number 8. When examining more into the influences into Uni, ROM and RAM, there are more inspirations and references into the characters than the handheld consoles that the CPU candidates represent. Uni, by her design of her dress, is meant to symbolize the UMD discs that were used for the PlayStation Portable, while ROM and RAM are also inspired by Na and Popo from Ice Climbers. Number 9. Many of the characters in Hyperdimension Neptunia that are not considered goddesses or CPU candidates are based off many Japanese game companies such as IF, who is based off of Idea Factory, and Compa, who is based off of Compile Heart. 5PB, who is based off the Japanese game company and record label, shows attack animations that feature characters from Steins Gates, which is a video game series that 5PB has worked on. Players can also see a Prinny during some of Nisa's attacks, since she is based off of Nippon Ichi Software, and the Prinny is from Disc.io, which is a game franchise from Nippon Ichi Software. Finally, Gust features characters from the Atelier series in her attack animations, due to Atelier being a franchise that Gust the video game company works on. After all, Gust is a representation of the company which shares the same name. Number 10. Fans that have listened to the soundtrack for Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2 may remember that there are 2 tracks that could not be heard in the game but were included anyway into the soundtrack. 2 songs called Green Earth and the other song called The Aegean were on the soundtrack's CD, while the third song could be found in the game's file and did not have a name. Interestingly enough, despite all 3 tracks not being heard in the game, they would be heard when playing Hyper Devotion No Goddess Black Heart, that would release 3 years later in 2015 in North America. Number 11. In the entire series of Hyperdimension Neptunia, there has always been a strong message against piracy of video games. After all, the main antagonist R4 is named after the R4 chips that are used for pirated ROMs onto Nintendo DS handhelds. In the hidden game files of Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2, an anti-piracy message can be found in the Protect directory of the system archive file. Unsurprisingly, when the game detects that it is being played on an illegal copy, it displays the message and shows the 4 felons which represent different forms of piracy in the game, so they fit very well with the piracy screen. It is considered unknown as to what triggers that anti-piracy screen to display. Number 12. Newcomer Falcom made her first appearance in Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2 and is themed off of the Japanese game company Nihon Falcom that has been known for its work on its most notable game franchise, which is the E-series. In Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2, she has written books under the alias of A. Kristin, which is a reference to Adol Kristin from the E-series. Number 13. Along with the other numerous video game references in Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2, one of the most memorable references has to be the victory line that Neptune has when she wins a battle when she is in your party. Sometimes after a victory she will sing a tune that mimics the tune of the victory jingle from the Final Fantasy games. Number 14. Along with another newcomer into the Hyperdimension Neptunia series, Cave, who is a playable DLC character in Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2, uses giant scissors as her weapon in combat. The giant scissors are a reference to the character Casper from the game Death Smiles, which is also developed by the game company Cave, which is what the character is based off of. Number 15. For those that played the original Hyperdimension Neptunia, players may remember the feature that allowed players to use images saved on their PlayStation 3 console as an attack that could be used during combat in the original Hyperdimension Neptunia. In Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2, players could still use saved photos on their PlayStation 3 console in the game, but no longer as attacks. The saved photos could be used to help customize Nepgear's HDD form and modify the template of the outfit. Well, there you have it. Those were 15 facts about Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk2 you may not know. Hope that the video was enjoyable and entertaining. You are encouraged to watch more facts about gaming and other miscellaneous topics. See you next time.